Welcome to another round of Soccer Down Here. It's a Tuesday. There's a lot to talk about on a bunch of different fronts. And it is coaching carousel, it is CONCACAF W, it is stuff going on around the world. And trust me, there's a lot of stuff going on around the world that we can get into here as transfers. We've got folks in camp. We've got players throwing up because they're in camp and they're not quite used to the training regiments. See Spurs, Tottenham, and Antonio Conte. And we've got a game to talk about tonight in Major League Soccer, so there's plenty to talk about today here on a Tuesday. Thanks for hanging out with us. And also, for those of you that sent in questions and thoughts as well, we'll get to those too toward the end of the program. But we'll start things off with Coaching Carousel, two particular stops, both of them in Major League Soccer. And the first one comes to us from Jarrett. And it comes to us through our friends at Kickoff Coffee, the morning kickoff. KickoffCoffeeCO.com, and you can be a part of their universe on their social media platforms at KickoffCoffeeCO, KickoffCoffeeCO.com. You can follow them on the Bird app, on Facebook, and on Instagram. Thanks to everyone who has been investing in their Kickoff Coffee, because if you use the code SoccerDownHere15, what you get is 15% off of your purchase. But the reminder, 10% of the proceeds go to help youth development and youth development in the sport of soccer. So thanks to everyone who has invested in Kickoff Coffee so far and has been a part of the growth of Kickoff Coffee here through SDH. Soccer Down Here 15 is your code for 15% off, and it is 10% of the proceeds heading to youth development for all the purchases that are done through Kickoff Coffee. I yield the kickoff this morning to Jarrett Smith because of one particular note that came out yesterday involving Coaching Carousel and his beloved Quakes.
So first off, I want to apologize that we're scattered to the four winds today. It's a tough day to get everything done and get everything lined up, but I got kickoff today because we got to talk about the beloved San Jose Earthquakes and the rumors about a one Landon Donovan. This is hilarious and wonderful and magical, and it's everything I really need in my life, because what you're potentially talking about here is Landon Donovan taking over San Jose. It's actually, on the surface, you're thinking, it's not a bad idea. He's done well in San Diego. Making that move to San Jose might be what they need. You know, they need a change. You know, after going through the Matias Almeida era, San Jose does need a bit of a change here. They've been okay in the second half of this season, ever since Almeida left, and they were just kind of able to clear the deck a bit. But still some growth that needs to happen for San Jose. And it might be the right move, not only for them, but for Donovan, to make that move away from USL. He's ready for that next step, and that's a good landing spot for him. Let's strip all that away and talk about the fact that you're talking about one of the guys who took part in a number of Cali Clásicos going to the other Cali Clásico team. Strip away all that logic for a minute, and let's enjoy for a moment the idea, the potential of Landon Donovan managing the team that he went against so often, especially at the end of his career, and defined by those times with the Galaxies of then managing against the Galaxy in one of the biggest rivalries in the sport in North America. I need this in my life. I don't know if y'all feel like you do. I know I do. But ultimately, the joy of that can also be compounded with the idea that, Landon Donovan might be ready for that. It's great. Wasn't really sure what he would do, because some guys are different. Some players go that managerial route. Some of them find themselves in more of a technical director mindset. Some guys want to be on the touchline. Some guys want to be behind the scenes. Landon seems to be that guy who wants to be on the touchline, and to him, I applaud him for it. Great work. Continue to do that. But give me the narrative about this, and go beat LA Galaxy that first time, please. Give us something more to talk about. And continue to grow as a manager. Because it's a very interesting progression for me, because I wasn't sure what he would want to be, and I wasn't sure if he was going to be a manager or if he was more of going to be in that vein of wanting to be kind of more behind the scenes or out front, or if he wanted to step away entirely. We just saw Bobby Shuttleworth retire for Atlanta United. I'm not really sure how guys feel about it. We've talked to Greg Garza, we've talked to Michael Parkhurst. You've had Jeff Larinowitz doing broadcasts for Atlanta United. Every player is different because at the end of the day, you strip away the public figure player persona. There are still human beings, and they have other interests at times. It's what makes Breck Shea such a unique animal to people, is that Breck Shea didn't eat, drink, breathe, and ingest soccer his entire life. He had interests outside of it, and they were kind of eclectic interests. And I say were as if he's not still around. But it's more of an eclectic interest kind of thing. But guys have other interests, and I don't know, for example, what Shuttleworth's going to want to do. If he's going to, and there was I believe it was Felipe Cardenas mentioned, coaching opportunity in the United States, maybe in MLS. Maybe he wants to do that. Maybe he wants to do something else. Maybe all of these guys want to do something else. I'm not really sure. But at the end of the day, they are human beings. They have other interests. They might have families they want to spend time with. They might want to start a family. I know, speaking personally, if I was in that situation where I was traveling as a pro athlete, I wouldn't necessarily want to start a family while I was traveling. But then afterward, you got your chance to settle down and kind of like build a more like centralized life. I can understand the appeal to that. Or it might just be in your blood that you just want to keep being involved in the sport and giving back and being involved at different levels. Maybe that pursuit of greatness means something to you. There's no way to know except by talking to the guys who go through it, who've played, who've been through the ups and downs. And Landon Donovan certainly has. And seems to have done some really good work out in San Diego. Time to move up to San Jose if it's there for you, bud. Because, oh man, we've already talked this year about Greg Vanney, and the LA Galaxy are inconsistent. And if he doesn't work this year, they don't make the playoffs. Like, how quickly did the Galaxy pull the ripcord on Vanney? Give me the narrative where we have to have this conversation much stronger because of Landon Donovan developing as a manager in San Jose. John?
So we'll see what happens there. Once again, Jarrett, thank you very much for Tuesday. Kickoff Coffee CO, kickoffcoffeeco.com on your social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Kickoff Coffee CO. Use the code SoccerDownHere15, and you, folks, can get 15% off your purchase for investing in the game that we all talk about here and that we all love and support every single day. So it's Soccer Down Here 15% off, 10% of the proceeds to youth development of the sport of soccer. That was your first moment of the carousel. The second moment looks like it's going to be buttoned up at 2 o'clock this afternoon Eastern Time, as DC United, I believe, is referring to it as a special announcement. So at 2 o'clock out of DC, it appears that Wayne Rooney will become the new head coach for DC United. He can't quite become head coach immediately. He has to get all of his work permits in line, and then he can be on the touchline. Chad Ashton will continue his role for the interim basis, and he'll be there for the time being until all of the paperwork is dotted and crossed and it gets the okie doke from all the folks that needs to get the okie doke from. Wayne Rooney set to be the new head coach for DC United. And Stephen Goff appeared on the Hoffman Show yesterday afternoon, courtesy of our friends at Team 980, to break this all down.
How did this, I feel like this came together very quickly over the weekend. It was like rumor and then like, maybe this will happen. And then it was done. How did this happen so quickly, and why is it happening now?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess from a starting point, there was always a relationship there because of his, his past as a player. And both sides have sustained that. I mean, Rooney is close with DC United captain Steve Birnbaum. Birnbaum and his wife went over and visited the Rooneys last Christmas time. The owners of DC United have at times look for advice from Wayne Rooney about players in Europe that they might, try to sign. So there's been that line of communication there. And there have been discussions, apparently, not serious discussions, but discussions about, maybe Wayne having some sort of role with the team in the future, as a coach. Things accelerated the last few weeks, I think, as DC United realized this season was imploding, and maybe they should try to hire him this summer and change the course of the season, or try to change the course of the season. Rooney stepped down a couple weeks ago from his post as Derby County coach in the English Second Division, a team that was battling a lot of off-field issues, financial issues. So he was available. He likes coaching. He certainly has a soccer mind, a great soccer mind. And things happen. Daily Mail actually had the story last week that there was something brewing. And then it was a fluid situation that came together over the weekend when he flew into Washington yesterday.
So it looks like Wayne Rooney is going to end up being the new head coach for DC United. We'll keep an eye on Coaching Carousel and see how things continue to grow and evolve from there. CONCACAF W, we wanted to get into that this morning as well. It was a great day for the Reggae Girls and for Jamaica with what they were able to accomplish in their group play. So here is part and parcel of their big victory. And, of course, it came at the feet of Bunny Shaw.
Guarding well. Solange. Shaw gets another chance. Moves right. Takes a shot. And she scores! Bunny Shaw makes it 2-0 Jamaica. Well, she didn't get the first look, but she buries the second. Pass it back out to reset. Blasts a shot. And maybe just blasted Jamaica into the World Cup. Let's see this again. Again, she goes back to Solange because she didn't like her angle. Now she moves to the right, and she hits it on the left. Khadija Bunny Shaw has been the hero for Jamaica time and time again. And she lives up to the hype. Do it again from the opposite side. Just kidding, we got the final whistle. Jamaica is going to the World Cup for the second time in their country's history. Bunny Shaw has a brace. Carter and Spence seal the deal. And the Reggae Girls celebrate.
Jamaica's win finishes their group play at 2 wins and a loss, 6 points, and so they get to move on into the Final Four. They get to move on, and they get to chase after a CONCACAF W championship. Bunny Shaw was asked about the match and about heading to the World Cup once again for Jamaica. And so courtesy of our friends at CONCACAF, here is that post. Your highlights, by the way, courtesy of our friends at CONCACAF their own selves.
Khadija, Jamaica is heading to the World Cup for the second time in the program's history. You've been a key player in the growth of this program. What does this qualification mean to you?
Yeah, it means a lot, especially throughout the beginning of the campaign, we came under a lot of pressure, and we just stuck together. We held our composure, and we know that once we stick together and play our game, at the end of the day, we're going to be victorious. And I think it just goes to show that, we're a small island, but we can do big things.
And with this match behind you now, you're looking to the future. You're going to face Canada up next. What do you think the team needs to focus on ahead of that match? Yeah,
I think, we just need to remain confident, stay positive, and support each other and communicate 100% because it shows from the first game. We won the first game. Obviously, the second game didn't go according to plan, but, we came out here and, we said we're going to give it a final push. So I think, just the confidence of the girls, if we can stick together as a team and continue pushing, I'm sure we can do big things.
The United States and Mexico after Jamaica and Haiti. And the numbers that came in, and we talked about juice boxes yesterday when it came into the competition in and of itself. You have the Final Four numbers, they're already posted. We'll get into that on the flip side of this. But your results from last night going into the games, and there were 4 matches yesterday. The 7 o'clocks, you had Panama beating Trinidad and Tobago. They were a big favorite at a minus 303. Canada beats Costa Rica 2-0 at a minus 526. USA No, well, let's go Jamaica first. Jamaica beats Haiti 4-0 as a plus 224. They were an underdog to Haiti in this. Haiti was a plus 108. The United States going into this match with Mexico was a minus 33-33. They were a minus 3,300 going up against Mexico. Mexico coming into this match was a plus 31-24. Mexico held their own until about 20 minutes to go. This moment courtesy of our friends at Paramount Plus, CBS Sports, and CONCACAF.
Point of contact with that second should be a red card coming out.
Tatiana Guzman, VAR official. Miriam Marcotte, your referee. And she is pulling out the red card. Ovalle didn't play that long in this match.
And unfortunate on so many levels for her, but she was bright coming in for Mexico. We've seen her be an inspiration when she's come off the bench in the first two matches. She had some good play, but that is difficult to watch.
29 minutes.
And just
Lisbeth Ovalle gets the red, and so the United States continuing to fight and scrap and claw in a goalless draw. It was a scoreless first half between these two sides for the first time since 2016, and it came in the 89th minute off a corner. Here's your ultimate decider in this match with USA and Mexico, once again courtesy of our friends CBS Sports, Paramount Plus, and CONCACAF.
Huerta with the cross to Sanchez. Sanchez trying to settle and turn and find something. Sanchez, Korniak places it up, Sonnet! The Cole Mewis runs it through! The United States has its goal!
And as much as we knew the United States was going to top this group, sitting knotted at 0-0, this goal is massive. To struggle through this game and really look unlikely to find the back of the net. They haven't been creative going forward. An unlikely candidate. And Sonnet sitting at the back post. Sanchez does the work, just dancing the tightrope, keeps that ball in bounds. And the ball laid first time across at the back post. Sonnet nods it down. And Gonzalez, who'd been so strong for Mexico, has the fingertip save, and she just can't get up quickly enough to make a play on it before Mewis, who's sitting in the right area at the right time. And it's an awkward ball. And when that ball is at your midsection, you know you can't get a lot on it, and all you got to do is just try.
So once again, the 1-0 win for the United States over Mexico. Win Group A, 9 points, 3 wins, 9 goals scored, none allowed. Jamaica at 5-5, 0 goal difference, 2 wins and a loss. They are right now, they are in 6 points, so they move on to the Final Four in Group B. Canada with their win, they ran the table. They finished up at 3-0, 9 goals scored, none allowed. Costa Rica finishing second. They go to 2-0-1, 7 goals scored, 2 allowed. And so your Final Four, we'll get into that in just a second, but it will be USA, Costa Rica, Canada, Jamaica, and CONCACAF. Caught up with Christy Mewis after the match to get her thoughts on the 1-0 win.
So, Christy, can you just talk about the overall team's performance tonight? And obviously, you just scored a goal.
Yeah, I think Mexico did a really good job. They had a great low block, so it was really hard to break down and beat. I don't think we did a great job finishing our chances. I think we had enough chances to probably win, but I mean, we're playing against a great crowd that's obviously not cheering for us, so it was difficult. But in the end, I think we persevered and we ended up getting one, so we're happy, but I think we can do a much better job.
That was my next question, tonight's atmosphere. It looks a little bit half and half.
Yeah. Yeah, it's honestly been incredible. I've played here before. The Tigres Stadium is awesome. The Mexican fans were so great. Obviously not cheering for us, which sucks, but it was a great atmosphere and we really enjoyed it. Thank you.
So your dates, U.S. and Costa Rica on July the 14th, 7 o'clock. Canada, Jamaica at 10 o'clock, and your final is on July 18th. So a quick turnaround for the Final Four here in CONCACAF W. Congratulations to Jamaica for making it to the World Cup in 2023. continued great strides for the Reggae Girls on their big win against Haiti to finish second Group A, and they get Canada, the winners of Group B, coming up in very short order. So let's take a look at the numbers and the ratings, courtesy of SofaScore and our friends at Soccer America. Stats at the end of the night for the United States: 55% possession, 8 shots to 3 for Mexico, 4 on target to 2, and obviously that means that 4 were off target to 1 for Mexico. One of those shots on target obviously ending up in the back of the net. 11 corner kicks to 2 for the United States. 11 fouls to 7 for Mexico, the 2 yellows, the red. 3 saves on the night for Mexico compared to the 2 for Casey Murphy. Soccer America's ratings on the evening, and remember, they go from a scale of 1 to 10. Casey Murphy ended up with a 5 on the board, less to do than in her first start opening match against Haiti. It wasn't until the 87th minute she was tested by the shot by Jimena Lopez that was easily handled. Taylor Fox, unavailable due to health and safety protocols at the back, which meant Emily Sonnet started in her place at left back, although she would switch with the other outside back, Kelly O'Hara. Sonnet helped set up the late winner. Kelly O'Hara ended up with a 5 on the night. Naomi Girma was her second start of the tournament, and that was her 4th cap overall. Becky Sauerbrunn, Soccer America, gave a 5, and Emily Sonnet was given a 4 on the night. And the turnovers were a concern for Soccer America in giving Sonnet that grade of a 4. And Andy Sullivan ended up with a 4, according to Soccer America, as did Lindsey Horan. Ashley Sanchez ends up with a 5. Once again, according to our friends at Soccer America, struggle to connect with each other and their teammates in dangerous positions. Sullivan was guilty of her share of bad passes. Horan took a beating, simply looked tired. Sanchez played a big role in the game's late winner, winning the ball in tight quarters and giving it to Taylor Korniak. So 4, 4, and 5 in the middle. Forwards, Midge Purse ended up with a 6. Alex Morgan and Sophia Smith ended up with 4s. And you end up with the substitute, Sophia Huerta, Megan Rapinoe with 5s, Christy Mewis with a 6, Rose Lavelle with a 7, and then obviously Taylor Korniak coming in very, very late and was given basically no rating because she'd only been in there for 10 minutes in front of 20,522. Miriam Marcotte was the ref in the middle last night, and so that sets up your final 4 for the CONCACAF W. And we'll get to activity in England and overseas in just a little bit, and I apologize if the show kind of loops in and around itself because of breaking news, developing stories, and such, and I wish I had the breaking news sounder, because when Darren Eales comes up and says 5 stripes don't stop, and you're trying to figure out what kind of a bug that was that he posted, it turned out to be a mosquito. Atlanta United has announced the signing of Colombian winger Edwin Mosquera from Deportivo Independiente Medellin to a 4-year contract. Mosquera, an under-22 initiative signing, will occupy an international roster spot pending the receipt of his international transfer certificate and P1 visa. Secondary transfer window open on July 7, making him eligible for selection. Quoting Carlos Bocanegra, Edwin's an exciting winger with a unique profile, someone who will bring a different dynamic to our team. He will add competition to our attacking group. Excited to welcome him to Atlanta United. 55 First Division appearances in Colombia, Brazil, and Argentina. Born in Quibdó, Colombia, Mosquera joined Independiente Medellin in 2016 at the age of 15, joining the first team in 2019, going on to make 40 total appearances for the club. Made his debut in the Colombian First Division back in 2019, a 1-1 draw against Alianza Petrolera in his first start. In the following match, a 2-1 win against Atletico Huila. Made 18 league appearances in his first season in 2019. 2020, Mosquera made 16 appearances, including 7 in Copa Libertadores, making his debut in the competition on February 19, 2020 against Atletico Tucumán. 6 appearances for Medellin to start the 21 season, loaned to Juventude of Brazil's Serie A in May, before he was returned to Medellin in October. Loaned to Aldosivi of the Argentine First Division in January of this year, 14 appearances, 4 assists. He's represented Colombia at the U20 level, starting in a pair of friendlies against Ecuador's U20s on December 16 and December 19 back in 2020. Goal and assist. So at 5'8", 21 years old, birth date, he just had his 21st birthday back on June the 27th, a 4-year deal, July 12th, signed today. And quick notes from folks about Mosqueda. Quickly from Peter Coates, Golazo Argentino on the Twitters, or Pedro Coates on Twitter at Golazo Argentino. Atlanta confirming the signing of Mosqueda. The Colombian's absence has been felt at Aldosivi this season. Very quick, a real threat, and if he can improve his end product, then a great signing. So we'll keep an eye on that and perhaps get some thoughts from Tom Robinson at some point about Edwin Mosqueda as well. So another signing for Atlanta United. Edwin Mosqueda is now in camp as another piece to the puzzle here for Carlos Bocanegra Darren Eales. 4-year contract, 21-year-old winger, and looking forward to seeing Edwin Mosqueda now as a part of Atlanta United, joining from Deportivo Independiente Medellin. And going back to coaching carousel really quickly, note from Stephen Goff through our friend Jonathan Tannenwald. I know that there had been some questions placed about the hiring of Wayne Rooney by DC United and if they'd followed proper procedures in Major League Soccer. Quoting Stephen Goff this morning, before hiring Wayne Rooney, DC United submitted required paperwork to satisfy the MLS diversity hiring policy, a league source says. In recent weeks, DCU interviewed 3 others. 2 were non-white as required, including 1 black candidate, 2 sources say. The MLS is in process of following up with those candidates to learn the extent and depth of interviews, one source says. This was the first full-time head coaching hire in Major League Soccer since the policy applying to technical staff was updated last winter. So as we continue to build the coaching carousel here today, reminder, 2 o'clock is the special announcement by DC United where it looks like Wayne Rooney, once all of his work paperwork is properly filed here in the United States, he will become the new head coach for DC United, a consultant until that moment happens. Chad Ashton continuing for his role in the interim. Now let's work our way overseas and get everything going on there, because there is a lot that is going on with camps and friendlies and everything going on. Chelsea is in Los Angeles. Manchester United, Erik ten Hag is putting together his first 11. And so obviously there is the current gnashing of teeth and waving of fingers and things like that. And so it's anticipation for Manchester United. We'll get into that in just a little bit. But when you get into transfer news, and we'll get into, like I said, we're saving Manchester United, so we're pushing them toward the end. Fabrizio Romano has Owen Vindal joining Ajax on a permanent deal from AZ Alkmaar, or AZ, for €10 million. The deal is signed and now completed. Vindal signs until June 2027. Watford has signed Raymond Aj for an undisclosed fee from Barcelona. The 25-year-old striker earned 31 caps for Albania, was on Inter Milan's books as a teenager, joined the Catalan club from Albacete in January 2020, appeared on the Barca bench once, played the majority of the football for Barca B, spent the season on loan last year at Spezia in Serie A. The length of the contract at Watford has not been revealed. You're looking for those of us from past to Swansea, Ross County, Jan Danda hopes he can reignite his career in the Scottish Premiership, says he wants to take his new club to Europe. The 23-year-old joined on a free transfer from Swansea earlier this summer. Also on the board, Gareth Bale has trained for the first time with LAFC. So we'll keep an eye on that with them getting ready for action this weekend. We'll get in, reminder, Fantasy kicks in today. Fantasy kicks in today because it is a dual match week, and we have the match tonight that we'll get into in just a little bit. Lewandowski could leave Bayern Munich for Barcelona as soon as this week, as the German champs look to fund a move for Juve's Matthijs de Ligt. And when you look at the details on that, Lewandowski could leave as Barca prepares a final offer of €50 million, a little over £42 million, plus bonuses for the striker, according to Sky in Germany. The departure would help Bayern to finance the signing of De Ligt from Juve, who have priced the center back at around €80 million, or 67.7 currently in the exchange rate, £67.7 million plus bonuses, according to Sky in Italy. Hasan Salihamidzic, Bayern's sporting director, was in turn yesterday to open negotiations for De Ligt with Juve. Lewandowski was completing his preseason medical checkups at the Barmherziger Bruder Hospital in Munich on Tuesday. He's got 1 year remaining on the Bayern deal, told the club he doesn't want to renew. Up until now, the German champs have insisted Lewandowski is not for sale and turned down a €40 million offer from Barca last month. Oliver Kahn, Bayern's chief exec, told Amazon Prime back in April that Lewandowski would not be leaving the Allianz Arena this summer. Back then, he said, quote, "We would be stupid to sell a player who scores 30 to 40 goals per season. He has a contract until June 2023, and we will definitely have him with us for another year. But if you can obviously fund a move for Matthijs de Ligt, you might be able to flip Robert Lewandowski to a place that he wants to go." Chelsea have also been tracking de Ligt this summer as they try to replace both Antonio Rudiger and Andreas Christensen, who both left on freeze. Lewandowski has been with Bayern since 2014. De Ligt has spent the last 3 seasons at Juve after joining from Ajax and has won 1 Serie A title and a Coppa Italia during his time. Xavi, according to Sky in Germany's Mark Berenbeck, wants a world-class striker desperately. Barca want him, and Lewandowski is open for Barcelona. It was always a dream for him to play in Spain, either Real or Barca, and this is coming from Berenbeck. There have been talks. Xavi desperately wants a world-class striker who can guarantee 30 or more goals a season. A 2 or 3 year contract is in the making with a salary of about 35 million to 40 million euro a year. Barca are not able to pay high fees, but high salaries. Burnley defender Nathan Collins is undergoing a medical at Wolves. Fees been agreed to between the two clubs for the 21-year-old, which Sky Sports News understands to be around £20.5 million. The Ireland international started his career at Stoke before signing a 4-year deal at Turf Moor last summer. 19 league appearances as Burnley was relegated from the Premier League after 6 seasons. Now to what's been going on in the Premier League. We mentioned Chelsea being on tour. Hey, do you know that Chelsea's on tour? They are in the United States, and they're out in Los Angeles. Sky Sports caught up with Reece James about what his first conversations were like with new owner Todd Boehly.
He's definitely spoke to everyone individually, and the camp feels stable, and everyone's looking forward to the next season and the new ownership.
What was his message?
That not much is changing. He's here to win trophies still, and nothing changes from the club perspective.
Well, James embraced fellow fullback Ben Chilwell in training. Chilwell missed 6 months of last season through a knee injury, but James is backing his teammate to have a big season.
He had a significant injury last year, and it's hard to be in the right frame of mind, to keep on with your rehab and stuff. So he done well, to get back much quicker than he was meant to be, and he's a great addition to have back this year and start the next season.
Now, we mentioned Manchester United. Manchester United right now in a friendly, and they're playing Liverpool. Manchester United's been putting a lot of numbers on the board in this friendly, so take the final score with what you wish. Darmish Seth and everybody at Sky Sports News were in the round table this morning, and here is your update on everything going on with Manchester United, who they're chasing, and where they might be going next.
Talk us through what other possible incomings then at Old Trafford. Where are we at?
A lot of United fans still asking about Christian Eriksen. Where are we with that deal? Well, I've been told today that the signing of Christian Eriksen is progressing positively. 3-year deal we know has been agreed in principle. It will be formally signed off once Christian Eriksen completes that medical with Manchester United. And a couple of others. I thought you were about to come in there.
No, I was just going to say, it's something to talk about with Christian Eriksen, what a player he is, and maybe we're forgetting what an influence he could potentially have on that midfield.
Yeah, look, there is a relationship between Erik ten Hag and Christian Eriksen as well. There's lots of talk about the relationship he has with Brentford and Thomas Frank. Of course, he signed that short-term contract. That's a lot of Brentford fans. One of the big reasons why they stayed up. But you also got to remember that when he was recovering from his cardiac arrest, he wanted to train with a football club, and that club was Ajax, managed then by Erik ten Hag. So that relationship has been building for a little while. A couple of other signings that United are interested in. The Lisandro Martinez one. That saga goes on. Talks are continuing with Ajax over the signing of the central defender. Gap in valuation still exists. There is a belief that the player wants to join, but United, as has been the mantra throughout this transfer window, will not overpay and are willing to walk away from any kind of deal if it doesn't suit them. Anthony is another player that they remain interested in. It's another priority position. Ten Hag admitted as much yesterday. Central midfield and the forward line, again, valuations quite a way apart.
OK, backdrop to all of this, though, is the continuing speculation over Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm going to throw it out there. Which one of you two want to go? Where are we at with all of this?
I think it's still United's stance is not for sale, isn't it? And I think the issue, like we've said day after day, is although Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't want to play in the Europa League, I don't think he's ever played in the Europa League. Where does he go? You know, we've talked about the ideal club for him, Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich sporting director last week saying no. Paris Saint-Germain going down the Parisian route in terms of transfers going forward. Is it potentially a Chelsea, a Todd Boehly signing who's taken over this non-official sporting director role and says he's working with the head coach Thomas Tuchel, but is he a Thomas Tuchel player? So does he have limited options here?
The interesting thing with this one is when it came out that he wanted to leave and he wanted a new challenge and he wanted Manchester United to look at suitable offers, the assumption was almost that Jorge Mendes had found those offers and were about to present them to Manchester United. But nothing has been forthcoming, and Manchester United's stance has not changed at all. Cristiano Ronaldo is not for sale. He's got a year remaining on his contract. They expect him to be here next season. There's a 12-month option on that contract as well. And when you hear from Erik ten Hag in his news conference yesterday, basically said he expects Ronaldo to be at United next season. He's not for sale. The interesting thing with that is, though, he hasn't spoken to Ronaldo since Ronaldo has made it clear to United that he doesn't want to remain at the club. I just wonder now whether the saga that started with Ronaldo saying, I want to leave and I want offers to be looked at, may have been a way to drum up the interest rather than there being interest initially to present to Manchester United. So I think Jorge Mendes will continue to look out for offers and then maybe present those to United. But as far as United are concerned, not for sale.
Once again, thanks to our friends at Sky Sports News for all of that help with what's going on in the Premier League. Elsewhere, looking at the papers, Daily Star. We'll start with the Daily Star. Alexis Sanchez reportedly in talks to terminate his contract at Inter Milan after being told by Simone Inzaghi he is not in plans next season. Daily Mirror, Ajax have increased their asking price for Lisandro Martinez as Manchester United continue to chase after Lisandro Martinez, looking to strengthen their backline. Word from John Terry insists that he's enjoying his role at Chelsea after turning down 3 chances to become a manager for the first time. Daily Express, Manchester United shortlisted Paulo Dybala as a potential replacement if Cristiano Ronaldo gets his wish and leaves the club this summer. Okay, so today it appears Cristiano Ronaldo wants to leave, according to Daily Express. So he's either leaving or he's not leaving, or he's leaving or he's not leaving, and he's not a part of the preseason camp. He is in Portugal working out. He's not in the Far East, and so he is, and he's not. So, okay, so I guess the Cristiano Ronaldo saga now qualifies as our new national crisis. Chelsea have reportedly identified Real Betis midfielder Guido Rodriguez as a potential replacement for N'Golo Kante, who has been linked with a move to Arsenal in recent weeks. And Manchester United increasingly pessimistic about a move for Ajax winger Antony, with reports suggesting they now believe the Dutch club have priced him out of leaving this summer. Scottish newspapers, you have Aaron Ramsey rejecting an approach from Galatasaray, and that catches us up on all the papers. Staying over in England before we come back here to the States, Women's Euro, 2 matches today. We'll get into those juice boxes in just a little bit. Results yesterday. It was Austria over Northern Ireland. Austria came in as a minus 500. Austria wins that one 2-0 over Northern Ireland. England, in the surprise of the day, is a minus 217, puts 8 on the board, knocking off Norway by the score of 8-0 as a minus 217. Norway coming in was a plus 523. Here's some post-match, once again, courtesy of UEFA and Sky. And you'll hear from Beth Mead, Ellen White, Fran Kirby, Alessia Russo, and Mary Arps. And you'll also hear from Jordan Nobbs with her analysis of the 8-0 win. Nobbs, a veteran of the Lionesses and Arsenal.
You can dream stuff like that. I think I think we were very shocked at half-time going the way we were, and yeah, we loved every minute on the pitch tonight.
Incredible. Obviously the atmosphere, the noise, the fans, and obviously the 8-0 result was insane. Super proud of the whole team, and 3 points and a clean sheet, amazing.
It was pretty incredible, an incredible night to be an England player and an England fan. But we know that these results don't happen every time that we play. So yeah, we're really happy right now, but we know that we have to evaluate and we have to analyse Northern Ireland and go again.
We pride ourselves on keeping clean sheets as well, so that's just as important for us. So yeah, it was positive, and we're looking forward to the next one.
Mary, you had a good view of that, didn't you?
Yeah, the girls were immense tonight. They really were, and it was a joy to watch.
You can dream stuff like that, I think.
OK, let's get more now, shall we, on England's historic 8-0 win over Norway last night. The victory means Serena Wiegmann's side are the first to qualify for the quarter-final stage, and Arsenal's Jordan Nobbs believes it underlines England's status as one of the favourites for the tournament.
They've scored a lot of goals and they haven't probably faced the tough opposition that they did last night, and I think we shouldn't underestimate that Norway are a top team, and the Lionesses proved and showed that they're in a great position right now. So I think they're in probably a lot of confidence right now. There's a long way to go, but I think as they're doing game by game, they're just improving.
Well, Ellen White was back on the score sheet again for England with 2 goals last night. Nobbs believes she has silenced the critics who doubted her place in England's starting 11.
The football world's a hard world sometimes, and I think Ellen's shown that she's got great scoring ability, and only takes a few games for maybe people to start to question that, but Ellen's a tournament player, and she showed again the other night that she can score goals for the Lionesses, so she's in top form. She's obviously got pressure of some of the other girls now that can come on and also score goals like Russo did, but Ellen's a top player that will play a major part in this tournament.
Matches today, once again, noon Eastern and 3 Eastern. Denmark and Finland is your lunchtime action. Denmark at a -217. Your draw is a +340. And Finland to win is a +558. Your 3 o'clock with Germany and Spain. This one should be a good one. Germany at a +181. Your draw is a +220. And Spain is a +148. Getting into the standings, when you look at all 4 groups, Group A, England with the win, 9 goals on the board, none allowed. They're at the top of Group A with 6 points. Austria and Norway, a win and a loss each. Austria ahead on goal difference, +1 to -5. Right now they're at 3 points each. Northern Ireland has lost their first 2, and they are at no points and -5, having scored 1 and given up 6. Group B, Germany and Spain right now at the top after the 1 match played. Germany is ahead on goal difference, +4 to +3, and the Germany and Spain match today will go a long way in determining who gets out on top in Group B. Finland and Denmark, they each have the loss on the board, obviously, with their first matches with Germany and Spain. Finland was the loser to Spain in their first match, and Denmark was the loser to Germany. Group C, they still are waiting to play their second match. Portugal and Switzerland, Sweden and the Netherlands, they've all drawn. So right now it is still up for grabs. 4 teams, 1 point on the board. Portugal and Switzerland, they drew at 2. And Sweden and the Netherlands, they drew at 1. Their next matches are tomorrow. We'll get into those juice boxes in just a little bit. Group D, France right now, after their first match, knocking off Italy by the score of 5-1. They're on top with 3 points. Iceland and Belgium drew at 1s, and their match is on Thursday. So quickly, and we'll get into this as we continue this week when we get into juice boxes, but juice boxes right now for the remainder of this particular week. Sweden and Switzerland right now. Sweden tomorrow at noon. They are a big favorite at a -526. Netherlands and Portugal. Netherlands is a -323. Portugal is a +810. Switzerland, by the way, against Sweden is north of +1300. In 2 days' time, Italy and Iceland. That's on Thursday. Italy is a +108. Iceland is a +229. Your draw is a +246. 3 o'clock, 2 days from now, France is a -714. Belgium's basically a +1700. And finishing out the week on Friday, it is at 3 o'clock, Austria, Norway, Northern Ireland, and England, last match of the group stage in Group A. Austria is a plus 208, Norway is a plus 110, your draw is a plus 271. England, obviously a big favorite against Northern Ireland, minus 3,300 on one side, plus 3,250 on the other. All right, back here to the States so we can take a peek at what's going on in Major League Soccer, some signings, and some interesting news involving MLS Next Pro and franchises coming up in short order. We mentioned the signing once again of Edwin Mosqueda to Atlanta United. The Colombian winger will, once again, pending the receipt of his ITC and P1 visa, be an under-22 initiative signing, 21-year-old out of born in Quibdó, Colombia. And so it'll be great to have him as a part of everything with Atlanta United once again. Exciting winger, unique profile, bringing a different dynamic to the team, adding competition to the attacking group. Excited to welcome him to Atlanta United. Those are the words, once again, of Carlos Bocanegra. When it comes to activity in Major League Soccer, Minnesota United has signed a Paraguayan defender, Alan Benitez, to a 2.5-year contract plus a club option. Benitez will be available to play once again, pending a physical and receipt of his visa and ITC. He will occupy an international spot on the roster from Adrian Heath. Very fit and powerful player. Biggest threat is going forward and contributing to the attack, and that fits very well with the way that we play. That's something we've lacked inconsistently over the season, and we believe this part and parcel of Allen's game is one of the strengths, and I think he'll help us in that regard. When you look at his body of work with Cerro Porteño, one of the biggest clubs in Paraguay, he's a Paraguayan international. Luis Amarilla knows him well. We watched him a lot, and we felt it was a good opportunity at this time. 28 years old at 5'10", joins after 2 seasons with Cerro Porteño in the Paraguayan First Division, played 35 games, 6 in the 2022 Copa Libertadores, on the squad that won the 2021 Clausura. Fullback began his career back in 2013 with his hometown club, Club Libertad Asunción, played 6 seasons, making appearances in the Copa Sudamericana and Copa Libertadores. In 2019, signed by Olimpia Asunción, played until 2021. In his 9-year career, 11 assists, 5 goals, 107 game appearances. Once again, a member of the Paraguayan national team with Luis Amarilla, made his senior team debut back in 2017 in an international friendly against Mexico. 5 caps, including 2 appearances in World Cup qualifiers. Interesting note out of Nashville, and it looks like Nashville will be adding a team in Huntsville, Alabama, for MLS Next Pro next season. And quoting Mayor of Huntsville, Tommy Battle, soccer has consistently been one of the most popular and fastest-growing sports in our region. When the city decided to renovate Joe Davis Stadium, convert its playing field to multi-use, we hoped pro soccer would find a way here. Today we are proud to deliver the exciting sports amenity to the community. In partnership with the city of Huntsville, Nashville SC's MLS Next Pro team will bring professional soccer to North Alabama. The team will make Joe Davis Stadium its home once renovation is complete in May of 2023. 6,000-seat facility, additional spaces to accommodate groups for events. In addition to soccer, multi-use fields available for football, ultimate frisbee, rugby, and lacrosse, and other non-sporting events. CEO Ian Ayer of Nashville SC. When we started building our MLS team in Nashville, we talked a lot about the key ingredients that made Nashville a perfect soccer city: great energy, strong business community, and real civic pride. Quite obvious in spending time in Huntsville. That same raw ingredients exist here. Could not be more excited about bringing our MLS Next Pro team to Huntsville and the amazing stadium project. There'll be a lot of heavy lifting to make it all happen, but with lots of experience and a strong local partnership, we're in the best possible position to make this project a huge success, end quote. So big news from the city of Huntsville when it comes to MLS Next Pro and where 2023 season will be for MLS Next Pro. Nashville Soccer Club launching its MLS Next Pro team in Huntsville, Alabama. And here's some of the press conference from this morning, courtesy of our friends at WAFF TV in Huntsville. You'll hear the voices of Mayor Tommy Battle and, along with him, Urban and Economic Development Director for the city of Huntsville, Shane Davis.
One of the city's most popular and fastest growing sports in the country is soccer.
And so today we're going to make an announcement about soccer. The demand for soccer is so pressing that the city of Huntsville has expanded Merrimack Soccer Complex with turf fields in Bryan Springs across the street, and we're adding new championship soccer fields just behind you to better serve the annual state soccer championships and the other tournaments. In the middle of this soccer mecca, I'm proud to announce that we're going to expand our soccer offerings. Professional soccer is coming to Joe Davis Stadium. It's an exciting announcement today. The city is partnering with Nashville Soccer Club to launch a MLS Next Pro team in Huntsville, and the team will begin competition in the 2023 MLS Next Pro season. Now, if any of you have been to Nashville, you might have been and seen soccer by the Nashville Soccer Club. They've just built a 30,000-seat facility up at the fairgrounds in Nashville, and now we are partnering with them today. In the inauguration season of MLS Next Pro, a new professional men's soccer league began in March with participation from 21 clubs. The city of Huntsville has been in conversations with their CEO, Ian Ayre, for some time, and we've been impressed with their vision and their energy. The league is committed to driving a new era of North American soccer by offering fresh opportunities to players, coaches, referees, and sports business professionals. So what happens next? The city will present an agreement to with the Pro Soccer Club to City Council at Thursday night's regular meeting. The contract will allow the city to lease the stadium to NSH Nexco LLC, which will operate the facility year-round. NSH at Nexco will establish a professional soccer club affiliated with the Nashville Soccer Club, a Major League Soccer club. The Huntsville team will compete in the newly formed MLS Next Pro League. At this time, I'm going to ask we're going to have two more speakers plus council members. Shane Davis, our Director of Urban and Economic Development, will speak. Mark Russell, Head of our Sports Commission, will speak, and then we'll ask council members to speak, and then we'll open it up for questions. Shane, if you would come forward.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, good morning. So what you see going on behind you is a continuation of what the city has done in years past. If you look at music, look at what we've done at the Von Braun Center, it's investment that's strategic and deliberate. Not only is this building an artificial turf athletic new stadium, but it's also bringing minor league soccer to Huntsville, Alabama. We want to thank Major League Soccer, the Ingram family, Ingram Associates. And right out of the gate, when we started entertaining that opportunity to bring more professional sports to Huntsville, Ingram Associates and their Ingram family was a first-class act to come look at Huntsville, saw the attributes, saw the quality of life that we were investing in Huntsville and the growth that Huntsville said, and immediately tagged us to be an affiliate to Nashville Soccer Club. As we continue this project, be more announcements coming from the team name, the team branding, but also the economic development that will follow. On the east side of the stadium, you'll see a mixed-use project be announced later this year, bringing hospitality, restaurants, livability, food hall, all the way out to the parkway. So, again, it's an investment that's deliberate from this administration to bring a better quality of life and further investments in Huntsville.
Once again, thanks to our friends at WAFF-TV for that very early this morning in Huntsville, Alabama. And you heard there from Shane Davis about the economic development, and we're seeing it, and we've already seen it here in the SDH footprint with ideas like Chattanooga, with the Red Wolves, like what we're seeing with Tormenta and what's being planned in Statesboro. You heard the same phrasing, mixed-use development. And so Huntsville, following in the footsteps of a couple of other places that we have seen grow here with the sport of soccer in the Southeast. Huntsville following in those same footsteps, adding material for their city and their economic development through mixed use. So we'll see that in Huntsville. Nashville SC and Huntsville working their way together to come up with MLS Next Pro in Huntsville, Alabama, starting next season. So one other quick note is from TFC. We're jumping back to Major League Soccer before we get into requested reading this morning to wrap up the show, and we'll talk about the one match tonight. Toronto FC announced that the club and Carlos Salcedo have mutually agreed to terminate the MLS contract effective at the end of the week. Note from Bill Manning, we'd like to thank Carlos for his efforts during a difficult time. In the end, Carlos felt it was most important to return to Mexico to be with his wife and children. We fully support Carlos's decision. Wish him best in the future, end quote. 28-year-old was in his first season with TFC, made 16 appearances for MLS and Canadian Championship for the Reds, originally joined TFC as a designated player back on January 31st of this season. So after 5.5 months, Carlos Salcedo is heading back to Mexico to be with his family, and so obviously the best we wish for Carlos Salcedo and his family back in Mexico. But Carlos Salcedo leaving Toronto FC, and we'll keep an eye on what Toronto FC wants to do in filling that space going forward. Is it Bernadeschi? Is that what they do? We'll see what happens out of Toronto. One quick note out of Red Bulls, Jason Pendant has found a home back in France. He's been transferred back there, so he gets the opportunity to go back home. And the two-sentence statement was issued by Red Bulls about the 25-year-old heading back to France on a transfer. So that is, right now, the MLS career of Jason Pendant has come to a close, and he is heading back to France to play. In Major League Soccer, we do have one match tonight, which starts everything out. And once again, reminder that fantasy starts tonight. Fantasy starts tonight. It is a double match week. And tomorrow, Dylan Butler will be joining us via tape, and we'll catch up with him and everything that he has seen in the weekend past and the midweek that will be in a very busy week across the board. So we'll catch up with Dylan Butler tomorrow. And also we will have the midweek whip around. Patent pending trademark in the air as well, because remember, there's 10 matches on Wednesday in addition to the one tonight with Austin and Houston as a part of Copa Tejas and the Lone Star Derby that we get to see. So very, very busy week. Chris Ashley still undefeated in fantasy at 16-0 as we head toward yet another week, double match week. So choose your rosters wisely when it comes to matchups. Dylan Butler tomorrow on tape. Midweek whip around tomorrow on tape. Obviously SDH tomorrow on tape as well, pushing through everything. Austin and Houston. Right now it is a 9 o'clock start Eastern time. Austin currently listed as a minus 111. Your draw is a plus 280. And Houston Dynamo are a plus 268. Looking at standings, remember, in the West, Austin right now, 19 matches on the board, unbeaten in their last 5. And their form in last 10 is they've won 5 of their last 10, 5-2-3, 2 draws and 3 losses. So they've gotten points in 7 of their last 10. And right now, Houston, after 19 matches played, they're at 22 points. They broke their 2-match losing streak with a draw last time out on the board with FC Dallas at 2s on the weekend. But Houston has lost 3 of their last 5. Only 1 win in their last 5. They're at 22 points right now, 5 points out of a playoff spot. And they've got some work to do if they're going to try to get north of the playoff bar. And they're going to have to do it at Q2 Stadium tonight. And it was interesting to see the comments from Hector Herrera, Ache, about what it's like in Major League Soccer. And so, of course, his first matchup had to be the Copa Tejas. And so he says it isn't an easy league after being a part of the intense Texas Derby draw. Also, when you look at transfers, is Luis Suarez possibly coming to Major League Soccer? The Uruguay National League star said he has, quote, 5 or 6 offers from unnamed MLS teams as he thinks about his future. Currently a free agent after leaving Atletico Madrid. And once again, the league's transfer window runs through August 4th, trying to get in shape for the Qatar World Cup. So it could be something to do. Decision day on October 9, MLS Cup November 5, 2 weeks before November 21st and the Cup. So could Luis Suarez be working his way to Major League Soccer? We'll keep an eye on that one as well. So a lot of interesting stories there when you're looking at the possible future of Luis Suarez and where he could end up. So that could be rather interesting as well. We'll keep an eye on that one going forward. A couple of notes along the pike when it comes to programming. Later today, we'll have our USL Championship, USL League One, and our NPSL Southeast Conference playoff preview coming up. Because remember, quick turn, teams are playing tomorrow, playing Wednesday in the conference semifinals, and they're playing on the weekend for the conference finals. So we're catching up with Dale Parker from Appalachian FC, Adam Reeks from Apotheos. That matchup is happening. Caught up with Jack Marchant from Georgia Revs. Caught up with Nico Bermudez from North Alabama. So all 4 coaches who are playing in the postseason, we will hear from them. NPSL Southeast Conference preview coming up later this afternoon as well. So a very, very busy day on the network with all of our programming that are laid out. So it's going to be a very, very busy day for all of us. Very, very busy listening day for all of you. But before we go, I mentioned requested reading. And so this is, if you have time, and it's something to keep an eye on. And it's a website that I have somewhat become, I put it in my bookmarks, let's put it that way, Josimar Football. And it is JOSIMAR Football, FOOTBALL.com, Josimar Football. And it is a site that is based in England. It's based in Norway. But it looks very, very investigatively, if that's a word, it is now as an adverb. But it goes under investigations and looks at what's going on with soccer from an investigative footprint. And their most recent article that came out a little bit ago is having to do with all of the crypto and the betting partnerships that you're seeing in the Premier League. And so it was a really good article, and it had to do with betting partners for Manchester City and Asia. And it looked at 8xBet and places like that. And you're looking at Stake.com and 12bet and 8xBet after Marathon Bet was dispatched, and all of the ties that these companies have and their partnerships and their development, and there are a lot of questions that are attached, and it's a fantastic read. So if you have some time during your lunch hour, it's about 8xBet and Manchester City and the relationship, and really who 8xBet is and who they're trying to become and their relationships with the Premier League. So it's about crypto, betting, the Premier League, 8xBet, Manchester City, YosimarFootball.com. The article is called No Questions Asked, We're English, and it's by Philippe Auclair, Andy Brown, Jack Kerr, and Steve Menery. Great work by our friends at Josimar Football. JOSIMAR Football, FOOTBALL. I would bookmark it. I have great investigations coming out of Josimar Football, and once again, good stuff from them. So that is your requested reading for the day during lunch or sometimes. We've had a couple of questions come through, and once again, thanks to everybody who has sent things to us today. And South Georgia is looking for an update on Jason. And Jason's fighting. He's fighting the comeback. He's fighting the good fight, and sometimes it just takes a lot longer for folks to recover than others. And what we want to do here is make sure that he is as healthy and as well as he can be on game days as possible. And so that's why we still give you shows on a daily basis on Monday through Friday. It's just that they're taped and they're quickly turned, and we have a bunch of information and all that kind of stuff. But the biggest thing for Jason is to make sure that he is as healthy as humanly possible to call the games for Atlanta United and be there for the club and with the club on 92.9 and the things that the club asks to do during a weekly basis as well. So he's getting better, and so he just continues to get better, but the focus is to make sure that he is as best as he can be when it comes to Atlanta United and games and calling those. So thank you, Jason, for asking, but he's fighting the good fight, and it's sometimes it takes longer for some folks than others to get back to full song, but we want Jason at Soccer Down Here to be as healthy as humanly possible on match days. And so that's why we are giving you all of this programming in taped form as opposed to the morning show being live. So just send your warmest vibes Jason's way to make sure that he can get to 100%. And thanks to everybody for all the support that you've given so far. Rich Ransom. Joseph Martinez is a 29-year-old and has scored 89 goals, and no one in Europe has ever made an offer for him since he's been in Atlanta, not even a big money offer from Asia or Middle East team. Feels like that's a miss from teams. And, Joseph has said in years past that he's happy here and comfortable here and wants to be here as long as he can. But over the last little while, Rich, you're talking about a knee injury plus recovery plus going back in for more arthroscopic surgeries and procedures. And so, it is going to be something where clubs, regardless of where they are here on this planet or any other, they're going to keep an eye on things. And so, the pre-knee injury, Joseph, yes, and then the post-knee injury, you're going to be keeping a closer eye. So, no, I understand where you're coming from, Rich, but I think that teams these days who might be interested in a scorer like Joseph are looking at him through his recovery prism and what he's able to do and perform going forward. So I think that, once again, if somebody on this planet's interested, they're keeping an eye on it, and they're just trying to see how he's coming through on the other side after the knee injury, the procedures, and the recovery. So that's where we are with that. But once again, reminders, shows coming out today, USL Championship, USL League One, NPSL, and you've got all of the stuff to view today. You've got the Women's Euro at noon and 3 on the ESPN family of networks and everything else that is coming up across the board today. So it's been a really eventful day. Thanks for everybody who has been a part of it with us. It's been news in Major League Soccer. It's been news here in the Footprint in Huntsville about MLS Next Pro. It's been about the U.S. women's team and CONCACAF W. It's been about the Women's Euro. It's been about transfer news in England and all around Europe and all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on. And Landon Donovan being looked at possibly as one of the finalists in your morning kickoff from Jared Smith. But very, very busy day across the board on a bunch of different fronts. Thanks for hanging out with us and being a part of what's going on here at Soccer Down Here. Remember, tomorrow we'll have Midweek Whip Around, Dylan Butler, everything else going on as we get you ready for MPSL conference semifinals as well, and all the postseason action there as well. USLW Final Four, and they're working their way toward they're in their playoffs now as well. You could, in the next round, end up with Tormenta and Greenville Liberty. So keep an eye on that one, too. So we'll be back at it tomorrow. A lot of stuff here on the platform. Thanks for being a part of everything here at SDH. Play it safe, everybody. We'll catch up with you tomorrow. Mucha plata, y'all.